You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB.
As always, around this time on Saturdays, we chat to Adam Peacock, our Australian correspondent out of codesports.com.au, and this week announced as part of Stan's sports coverage of the Olympic Games across Australia during July and August. Congrats on that, mate. Big event. It'll mean a few late nights for you and early mornings, no doubt.
I don't know what the sleep patterns are going to read like, Piney, but as you know, in this part of the world, when there's a big event in that part of the world, it means that they're going to be interrupted, but it's a good reason to be interrupted because I think I'm the same with a lot of your listeners. When the Olympics come around every 4 years, it's just something you got to get involved with, and I'm fortunate enough to be working on it this time and looking forward to seeing how our Aussie athletes go on the world stage.
Fantastic stuff, mate. Congratulations on that. Let's have a look at some of the current sporting matters around. The T20 World Cup is underway tomorrow. This has kind of flown under the radar a little bit, playing cricket or watching cricket in June. Australia normally go into cricket tournaments expecting to win them. What are your expectations of Australia at the T20 Cricket World Cup?
Yeah, we've got an experienced lineup, so I dare say that's the aim. They haven't gone there to kind of build for something else. They've gone there to actually win it, and there's not a lot of youth about it. Like Jake Fraser-McGurk, our young gun, who burst onto the scene of the IPL. He's only good enough for a reserve spot. It's very much an established older guard that's going to get it done here for Australia, and I think they can. I reckon they're as good a chance as anyone. It is. Look, it's lotto, basically, this kind of format. There's no real, how can you say, there's no certainty about it because, every one of I'd say about 8 teams can win it. Whether or not that falls Australia's way remains to be seen. It'll probably come down to a pool game between us and England to see where we finish and where we cross over. And then it goes into a Super 8s, and then it becomes the real lotto. So, good tournament. I'll enjoy it. Don't know about you, Piney, but, Australia will be in with the shot, and it'll be, 240 plays 240, I think, in a lot of these games, because they'll be on small grounds in the US and the Caribbean.
Yeah, that's par now, isn't it, for T20? Gone are the days when 180, 190 was enough. In T20, it doesn't seem to be anywhere close to it now. No, we're looking forward to it too. We've made the semis the last couple, so, we'll see how we go. Let's go to football. The Matildas last night needed a late equaliser to get away with a 1-1 draw against China in a jam-packed Adelaide.
Yeah, 52,000 people watching. It's just incredible about the Matildas. I was watching it last night and they weren't playing well and they were headed for a loss. And I was thinking, this isn't going to affect anything at all in terms of their popularity. It's so weird. They're almost at the moment immune from results because of it's like a movement behind them. It's not so much a normal sporting sphere. So that's one thing. To the football, they didn't play well, and they were disjointed. Ante Milicic, who's the coach of China, who was one-time coach of the Matildas, he set up and made life really difficult for Australia, and I think he outcoached Tony Gustafsson. So, they've got some issues without their best players, and then he chucked on 5 of our best players. It all changed, but one of them, Caitlin Ford, actually picked up a hammy injury, so that wasn't too clever. He said after the game, Gustafsson, that, she was a bit of a risk going in. I'm thinking, why on earth did you even put her out there? So, they play again in a couple of days in Sydney. Hopefully improvement for the Matildas, but a bit to work on ahead of the Olympics.
And the Socceroos have also got games coming up, I think Thursday against Bangladesh and then mid next week against Palestine. These are Asian World Cup qualifiers. Australia unbeaten in pool play up to this point. They shouldn't have too many troubles with Bangladesh or Palestine, should they?
They've got to win both, because if they win both and then I think if it's Korea don't quite get it done in their results, we can leap above them in the world rankings, which means we get a slightly cushier draw in the next phase with the way that the pots work in the draw. So that's imperative. What I'm really excited about, actually, I'm pumped about, is that Nestor Irankunda, Daniel Arzani have been both selected. These are two guys that, and you know them, Piney, you've watched them all year in the A-League, that you give them the ball and something invariably magical can happen. So, yeah, they're real difference makers in the final third, and I'm so glad that they've got their opportunity with Graham Arnold's team.
Absolutely. And just to finish today, State of Origin, Game 1 comes up midweek. Always difficult to pick. But who are favourite? Blues, Maroons? Who has the early kind of, favouritism heading into State of Origin 2024?
It's kind of weird, this one. Well, Queensland, the game's in Sydney, but Queensland are favourites, and they're not disputing it as much as they usually do, even though the fact that the old stories have come out, and they're all over the newspapers today as well over here, that, did New South Wales really get Origin? So it's the same narrative. It's just a different year. Michael Maguire's the new coach. He's had a problem in picking his team in that his first choice, second choice, in and out, and are they available? Nico Hines has gone into camp with a slight niggle on his calf. Is that going to work? Drop James Tedesco, probably fair enough. Dylan Edwards has been outstanding. So, yeah, all the questions again about what it really means to New South Wales are apparent. But Origin gets to this point 3 or 4 days out, and it's like, God's sakes, just kick the game off. Sick of talking about it. So, yeah, bring on Wednesday. It should be a great game.
Terrific, mate. Lots happening in Australian sport at the moment. Thanks for keeping us all across it. We'll catch up with you again same time next Saturday.
Sounds good, Piney. Have a good one.
You have a good one too, mate. Adam Peacock there, our Australian correspondent, around this time every Saturday afternoon here on Weekend Sports.
For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.